pioneering musician Prince has died at the age of 57. His publicist, Yvette Noel-Schur, told the Associated Press the music icon was found dead at his home.
Police in Los Angeles say soul singer Marvin Gaye has been shot to death, and his father, a minister, Marvin Gaye Sr., has been taken into custody.
A sobering reality remains largely unacknowledged. Numerous African-American celebrities have perished under exceptionally strange and almost unbelievable conditions. Their deaths weren't due to disease or aging. They died at the height of their careers in questionable circumstances lacking clear explanations. Accidents, homicides, retribution, the causes remain uncertain. Numerous narratives stay untold. Countless truths lie interred with them. Law enforcement concludes investigations rapidly. The press silences skepticism, leaving admirers with persistent uncertainties. It may seem incredible, but 21 suspicious deaths among Black entertainers have been documented. I will now unveil these mysteries spanning many years. The ambiguous circumstances surrounding their fatalities will be examined. 19. The renowned rap artist Tupac Shakur, tragically shot in Las Vegas, passed away at the young age of 25. His bold lyrics and rebellious spirit revolutionized music, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions. The evening of September 7th, 1996 found Tupac and Suge Knight returning to their hotel after a calm evening. Their BMW was traveling along the Las Vegas Strip, unsuspecting of the danger ahead. A white Cadillac suddenly appeared, unleashing 13 shots, striking Tupac. He suffered a fatal collapse within the vehicle. While Knight sustained minor injuries, Tupac's wounds were severe. Despite extensive surgeries, his body ultimately gave way. After a 6-day struggle, Tupac Shakur succumbed to his injuries on the afternoon of September 13, 1996. The loss of a musical icon remains a deep wound. The circumstances surrounding his death remain shrouded in mystery. Was it retribution from musical enemies or a more clandestine plot? His death is more than a musical tragedy. It's an unresolved sorrow for his dedicated fan base. A death shrouded in unresolved mystery persists. 18. Christopher Wallace, tragically murdered in the night, ignited explosive conspiracy theories. Christopher Wallace, a rap icon whose music enthralled millions, continues to be a powerful symbol for his fans. His 1997 demise was anything but straightforward. At 12:45 a.m. on March 9, 1997, Biggie departed a celebration at the Peterson Automotive Museum. Exhilarated from an energetic evening, he entered an SUV with his security detail, returning to his hotel. However, that joyful moment was short-lived. Before he could respond, another vehicle approached, unleashing a barrage of gunfire into Biggie's SUV. Biggie succumbed to his injuries. His protector, overcome with fear, sped him to a medical facility, yet it was futile. At 1:15 a.m., a giant in the industry had perished. The killing occurred on a bustling thoroughfare. Still, nobody witnessed the event. Speculations proliferated. Was it retribution connected to the East Coast-West Coast conflict? Did compromised Los Angeles law enforcement participate? Were members of the Crips gang implicated? Despite thorough inquiries, all clues disappeared. Biggie's sudden death fueled beliefs of clandestine schemes, but the reality remains concealed. 17. Samuel Cooke, the revered Soul King, was fatally shot in an inexpensive motel. Cooke's name evoked widespread American admiration. A genuine soul music icon, his captivating voice and inspiring songs were central to the civil rights movement. He wasn't merely a performer, he actively challenged injustice, maintaining firm control over his music, production, and career trajectory. However, his brilliance and independence came at a significant, frightening cost. At approximately 3:09 a.m. on December 11, 1964, Cooke arrived at a modest Los Angeles motel with Elisa Boyer, a young woman. No one anticipated this would be the tragic end of a legendary figure. Just hours prior, Cooke was a dominant force in the music industry. Yet, within the confines of a cheap motel room, chaos unfolded. According to Elisa Boyer, the sole survivor, Cooke became aggressive, causing her to leave the room. The events did not conclude there. In a fit of rage, a naked Cooke stormed into the motel's front office where Bertha Franklin, the manager, was working. Soon after, a gunshot echoed, and Cooke collapsed, struck in the chest. Police declared it a justifiable homicide, but the verdict appeared overly convenient. overly simplistic for the demise of such an influential figure. Cook's injuries, bruises, and marks consistent with a beating contradicted a self-defense claim. Speculation arose that he was lured into a trap, that Elisa Boyer was not a random acquaintance, and that the entire incident was orchestrated to result in his death. How could a wealthy man of Cook's stature be in such a dilapidated motel experiencing such a shocking, unbelievable demise? Some proposed it was an assassination. Cook was establishing his own record label, daring to wrest control of his music from white industry executives. His outspoken support for civil rights was not universally welcomed. Was he silenced to prevent him from becoming even more influential? Did powerful figures fear a black man with both immense talent and a strong voice surviving for too long? Cook's death was never thoroughly investigated. The case was closed prematurely. The truth remains obscured by layers of uncertainty. Even today, definitive answers elude the public. 16. The enigmatic passing of Phyllis Hyman, a supremely gifted jazz and R&B vocalist, occurred on the eve of a significant performance. Hyman possessed an undeniably unique and powerful vocal style, consistently captivating American audiences. A talented and resilient woman of beauty, Phyllis transcended the role of mere singer. She embodied the struggles inherent within a demanding industry. Tragedy struck on the afternoon of June 30th, 1995. While the Apollo Theater stage lights awaited her, a devastating event transpired in her New York apartment. Friends discovered Hyman unconscious, collapsed on the floor next to an empty bottle of sleeping pills. Despite immediate transport to the hospital, resuscitation efforts were unsuccessful. She was pronounced dead. This occurred on the day of a major concert, a performance she had eagerly anticipated and diligently prepared for. The circumstances surrounding her death were suspicious and inexplicable. A short suicide note expressing remorse to family and friends surfaced. However, this account directly contradicted the demeanor Hyman exhibited only hours prior. Friends recall a joyful, optimistic Phyllis, excited about her new album and future endeavors, showing no indications of distress. The entertainment industry often proved a hostile environment for assertive women like Phyllis. She confided in others about feelings of isolation, control, relentless pressure, harsh contractual terms, impossible management demands, accumulating debt, and unspoken conflicts, all burdens accumulated over time. The true extent of Hyman's internal struggles remained unknown. This led some to speculate about foul play, that the note was a forgery, and that she was possibly drugged, her death meticulously staged as a suicide. Regrettably, a thorough investigation never occurred. No surveillance footage was reviewed, nor were her relationships scrutinized. The case was closed swiftly, leaving the strong possibility that untold secrets remain concealed within the shadows of the industry. 15. Marvin Gaye, shot dead by his own father after a heated argument, is a pivotal figure in soul music. His iconic hits profoundly impacted a generation. What's Going On, Let's Get It On, and Sexual Healing are just a few examples. Yet behind his musical success lay a life marked by conflict, intense pressure, and unresolved psychological trauma. These tensions culminated in a tragic event. At 12:38 p.m. on April 1st, 1984, the day before his birthday, Marvin Gaye collapsed at home, shot twice in the chest by his father, Marvin Gaye Sr. The brutality of the scene was compounded by the circumstances leading up to it. That morning, Marvin had engaged in a heated argument with his father, a continuation of decades of conflict. He confronted his father about the years of mistreatment inflicted upon his mother, a woman who endured silently for years. The argument escalated, fueled by intense anger. There was a brief pause. Gaye Sr. left the room, temporarily easing the tension. His return, however, was unexpected, and he carried a gun Marvin had given him for protection. He then fired, a decision made not in the heat of the argument, but after a pause, fueling suspicion that this was not a spur-of-the-moment act but calculated murder. Police swiftly accepted Gaye Sr.'s claim of self-defense, provoking widespread public outrage. A father leaves, returns with a weapon, and kills his son, yet it's deemed self-defense. The investigation was superficial, lacking a thorough examination of motives, financial situations, or the family's long-standing issues. a musical legend was lost, and the official conclusion was far too simplistic. A close friend speculated that Marvin was deeply despondent, perhaps even provoking the act as a means of escaping his pain. A more sinister theory emerged, suggesting that Gaye Sr., overwhelmed by long-simmering hatred, lost control. Their distorted father-son relationship culminated in a brutal act. Gaye Sr. received only probation, no jail time, a result that remains incomprehensible and unacceptable. 4 decades later, the case continues to be a source of unresolved grief for those who cherished Marvin Gaye. 14. Lisa Left Eye. Lopes perished in a Honduran car accident. On April 25, 2002, in the late afternoon, the popular TLC singer, driving a black SUV near La Saba, Honduras, with 7 others, including family and companions, was involved in a fatal crash. She felt unusually apprehensive, burdened by a pervasive sense of being observed. At approximately 5:30 p.m., Lopes lost control of her speeding vehicle. Despite attempts to regain control, the SUV careened into a deep ditch. The collision was sudden and violent, disturbing the tranquility of the area. Lopes was ejected. The severity of her injuries resulted in immediate death. While the other passengers survived, the sight of her lifeless form deeply affected them. Authorities attributed the incident to reckless driving, concluding it was an accident. However, many fans found this explanation unconvincing. Was it merely a mishap, or did some external factor contribute to her demise? Her prior comments about feeling followed fueled speculation that her death was not accidental. Remarkably, she was the sole fatality, intensifying the enigma. Decades later, the crash continues to generate debate, spawning conspiracy theories and leaving many questions unanswered. 13. The enigmatic passing of Sean Taylor, a gifted NFL star, occurred tragically and unexpectedly at age 24 on November 27, 2007. That evening at his Miami residence, an illusion of tranquility reigned. However, at 1:45 a.m., 4 uninvited individuals forcibly entered. Taylor, slumbering alongside his girlfriend and child, was awakened by the threat. Undeterred, he bravely defended his family, but a burglar discharged a lethal round. Taylor immediately fell. His girlfriend, overcome with terror, helplessly witnessed his demise. Taylor was swiftly transported to a medical facility, yet his extensive blood loss proved insurmountable, and his life ended at 3:30 a.m. The ensuing police inquiry yielded ambiguous results. Despite the apprehension of 4 suspects, their motivations remained elusive. 12. The renowned soul artist Donny Hathaway perished in a nighttime fall from a skyscraper, a tragic loss of a supremely talented individual. Hathaway stands as a pivotal figure in American soul music. His vocals resonated deeply with an entire generation, evoking profound emotion with a single note. He wasn't merely a singer, he was a key architect of a deeply felt, authentic musical period. On the night of 1/13/1979, as New York City concluded a typical day, a devastating plunge from the 15th story of the Essex House Hotel transformed the evening into a tragedy. Donny Hathaway was discovered lifeless on the pavement around 10 p.m., without any farewell. His body lay beneath the harsh exterior lights of the hotel where he was residing. Law enforcement officials arrived promptly, determining that no criminal activity was involved. Their statement indicated an open window, a locked door, an absence of any struggle, and no other individuals entering or exiting the room. However, there was no definitive evidence suggesting a premeditated suicide. Earlier that day, he had been recording music with associates, brimming with energy, and discussing future plans as if nothing was amiss. His companions rejected the official explanation. They had witnessed his mental health battles, yet he never surrendered his zest for life. He maintained a deep love for music, his children, and life itself. No one could fathom Hathaway electing to depart. Therefore, if not suicide, a chilling theory emerged. He was murdered, a possibility that someone silenced him. Perhaps he had unearthed compromising information within the music business, or was simply too independent, too threatening to those seeking dominance. Consequently, they orchestrated the incident to appear accidental. Authorities overlooked suspicious elements. A thorough investigation never transpired. The case was hastily concluded, categorized as a mental health-related death without further review. This fueled the belief that a powerful, calculating, unseen force was responsible for his demise. 11. The tragic murder of Merlin Santana sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Merlin Santana, a gifted young actor with a burgeoning career, showcased significant talent in his roles. He possessed a very bright future ahead of him. However, on 9th November 2002, his life was brutally cut short. That evening, Santana was conversing with a close companion in his vehicle on a peaceful Los Angeles street. Amidst their laughter, several young individuals approached, and Dahman Andrew Gates suddenly produced a firearm, unleashing a barrage of shots into the car. The bullets flew rapidly. Santana died immediately. His friend, though unharmed, was left as a helpless witness. Upon the police's arrival, there was no evidence of an earlier altercation. The motive for targeting a successful young actor like Santana remains unclear. The senseless violence and the lack of apparent reason caused many to question whether it was accidental. Some speculated Santana was mistakenly targeted. Despite thorough investigation, the circumstances surrounding his death continue to be a perplexing enigma. 10. The sudden death of Lost Boys rapper Freaky Ta remains a mystery. Freaky Ta, a gifted Lost Boys member, was killed in a shocking, inexplicable act of violence. On March 28, 1999, in the early morning, after celebrating a birthday at the shelter, Freaky Ta stepped outside, seemingly without a care. Unbeknownst to him, he was targeted by a ruthless killer. A person walked past. A gunshot echoed. A single bullet to the head ended his life immediately. Freaky Ta's life ended instantly. The murderer vanished quickly, leaving nothing behind. Investigators discovered no clues and no helpful witnesses. The motive remains unknown. Some suspect gang involvement, others suggest conflicts within the music business. Regardless of the cause, his death devastated fans, and the lack of resolution is agonizing. 9. Cornell Gunter, a Coasters legend, was fatally shot in his vehicle during a Las Vegas night. Gunter was the soul of the Coasters, the renowned group responsible for hits that epitomized the R&B golden age. He was not only known for his unique voice, but also as a symbol of someone who achieved great fame, only to experience a harsh decline. Despite being past his peak, Gunter maintained the dignity of a veteran performer, never abandoning his hope for a resurgence. He yearned intensely to return to the stage. However, all hope ended on the night of February 26, 1990, when Cornell Gunter was murdered in his car in Las Vegas, a city known for its music, bright lights, and endless aspirations. Around 2200 hours, he departed a gathering, driving along quiet streets, burdened by fatigue and unspoken concerns. His vehicle stopped at the roadside. His intentions remain unknown, but the fatal incident occurred swiftly and violently. An unknown individual approached his window and gunfire ensued. Cold, calculated shots left him dead instantly. Law enforcement arrived too late. No cameras recorded the event, no witnesses emerged. The circumstances remained baffling. Gunter's death was not only abrupt, it was strangely enigmatic. There were no clues, no clear motive. 8. The pop and R&B icon Whitney Houston died in a hotel bathtub hours before a planned comeback performance. Houston, a legendary voice who dominated stages, shattered Billboard records, and created history with "I Will Always Love You," was a global icon and an irreplaceable figure for countless music fans. However, on the afternoon of February 11, 2012, just hours before the Grammy Awards and her anticipated return after battling addiction, tragedy struck at the Beverly Hilton in Los Angeles. She was discovered unresponsive in a bathtub. Hotel staff desperately tried to revive her, but their efforts were unsuccessful. At 3:55 p.m., Whitney Houston passed away. The world was shocked. Days before, she had seemed vibrant, discussing new projects and excited for her comeback performance. The unexpected nature of her death baffled everyone. The autopsy cited drowning due to drug and medication intoxication. This conclusion, though seemingly clear, left many unanswered questions. Why would Whitney use drugs at such a pivotal moment in her career? Was it a tragic accident? Or was foul play involved, perhaps capitalizing on her vulnerability? Some suspect poisoning, possibly due to industry rivalries or a betrayal by someone close to her. While Whitney had a history of substance abuse, the timing of her death seemed far too convenient to be purely accidental. Even more disturbing, her companions during the 40 minutes leading up to her death remain unknown. A lack of surveillance footage or conclusive evidence surrounds the event. The absence of adequate security at a luxury hotel before a high-profile event like the Grammys is highly unusual. It raises the possibility of a deliberate setup as she attempted to overcome her struggles. 7. Michael Jackson, in a trance-like state, suddenly collapsed. The pop icon's death was shrouded in suspicion. Michael Jackson, an irreplaceable figure in pop culture, was a global superstar who redefined the industry. He transcended boundaries, shattered stage records, and captivated millions with his performances. A true legend, he unexpectedly disappeared on what seemed a tranquil morning. On June 25, 2009, while preparing for his This Is It comeback tour, Michael Jackson was found unresponsive at his Los Angeles home. At 2:26 p.m., less than 3 hours later, he was pronounced dead at the hospital. His personal physician, Conrad Murray, was present. He claimed to have given Jackson propofol, a potent surgical anesthetic, to help him sleep. However, this sleep proved fatal. The combination of propofol and other sedatives led to cardiac arrest. Murray was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Yet, was he solely responsible or merely a patsy? Why would a star of Jackson's stature receive a powerful anesthetic at home without the presence of a specialized medical team, hospital facilities, or resuscitation equipment? Why was such a global icon's health entrusted to a single, potentially unqualified physician? Something felt amiss. Something was concealed. These queries remain unresolved. Undeniably, Michael Jackson's death sent shockwaves worldwide. However, the underlying truth is even more disturbing. A man overwhelmed by unrelenting demands, manipulation, and unreasonable expectations. Jackson was burdened by an exhausting schedule, immense financial pressures, and a dubious management structure. Concert organizers, particularly AEG Live, prioritized his stage appearances above all else. Each performance translated into millions in revenue. A still living, though weary, Michael Jackson remained a highly profitable asset. 6. The musician died suddenly in an elevator, a suspected case of painkiller poisoning. Prince was a unique and irreplaceable figure in funk and rock music. His influence extended far beyond simply creating popular songs. He revolutionized the music business with his distinctive style, limitless imagination, and innovative artistic vision. A singer, record producer, fashion icon, and gender-bending symbol, Prince was a multifaceted artist. However, on a chilly morning in 2016, his life ended unexpectedly. On April 21, 2016, early in the morning, Prince was discovered unresponsive in an elevator at his Paisley Park home, his creative center. It was approximately 9:43 a.m. He was found still, cold, and lifeless. Paramedics responded immediately, but unfortunately their efforts were unsuccessful. The investigation's findings intensified the mystery surrounding his death. The cause was determined to be an overdose of fentanyl, a very strong painkiller usually reserved for patients with advanced cancer. It was perplexing that Prince, someone with no history of opioid addiction, had blood levels of the drug many times exceeding a fatal dose. Just days before, on April 15th, Prince had collapsed on his private plane. Narcan was administered, reviving him. His body had clearly shown signs of trouble. However, he didn't avert his tragic end. The source of the fentanyl remains unknown. Some suggested a hidden illness. Others cited years of persistent injuries. Many suspected foul play, a carefully planned scheme targeting his wealth, influence, or music career. Prince led a private life, rarely sharing personal information. People respected his privacy, but this secrecy heightened the enigma of his death. Some hypothesized that he was given counterfeit drugs. It might have been someone close to him or someone who wanted him eliminated. The events leading up to the death, from the plane incident to the untraceable fentanyl, pointed towards something more than an accident. Yet, the truth remains elusive. Even now, questions linger about exactly what occurred in that Paisley Park elevator that morning. 5. The sudden death of Aaliyah, a gifted R&B singer, shocked the world. Aaliyah, famed for her timeless hits, left an enduring legacy in music and the hearts of countless fans. On August 25, 2001, after completing a significant project in the Bahamas, she boarded a Cessna 402B for her return to the U.S. This seemingly routine flight tragically ended in disaster. At approximately 6:50 p.m., the plane took off, only to plummet seconds later in a catastrophic crash. The resulting explosion claimed the lives of Aaliyah and 8 others. There were no survivors. The crash scene was horrific, filled with burning debris and smoke. Aaliyah, a radiant star in the R&B firmament, was gone. Subsequent investigations unearthed troubling details. The aircraft was 700-odd lb overweight, the pilot lacked necessary certifications, and evidence of drug use emerged. The central question remains unanswered. How could such an aircraft be cleared for takeoff? Speculation and conspiracy theories surrounding Aaliyah's death abound, suggesting potential foul play. However, these theories remain unsubstantiated. Aaliyah's death continues to be a perplexing and tragic enigma. 4. Lamont Coleman, a 24-year-old rapper. The tragic and violent death of a gifted rapper with immense potential. Big L, poised for significant success, perished prematurely in a brutal act. On the night of February 15, 1999, as the Harlem streets fell silent, Big L was walking. He was completely oblivious to his impending demise. Suddenly, a group of assailants emerged, and 9 shots echoed through the night, instantly incapacitating Big L, leaving him helpless. The shocking event deeply affected all who learned of it, even those who rushed him to a hospital. His injuries proved catastrophic, resulting in his death at age 24, leaving behind a legacy unfulfilled. His murder quickly became shrouded in enigma. No substantial clues, no apparent motive emerged from the investigation. Speculation centered on personal conflicts, gang violence, or possibly rivalries within the music industry. Various hypotheses proliferated, leaving the case unresolved. Big L's memory endures among his devoted fans, yet the circumstances of his death remain obscure. A significant unanswered question. 3. The enigmatic demise of Eazy-E from HIV remains a mystery. Eazy-E, a renowned rap artist and co-founder of NWA, significantly impacted hip-hop culture. However, his passing generated numerous unanswered questions. During late February 1995, Eazy-E experienced respiratory issues, initially dismissed as a common cold. His deteriorating health led to a shocking diagnosis: HIV. This revelation was incredibly surprising. It was unbelievable. 1 month later, on March 26th, Eazy-E passed away. Paradoxically, he was known for his healthy lifestyle and showed no indications of high-risk activities such as intravenous drug use or unprotected sexual contact. A hidden motive is suspected to be the cause of his decline. Conflict within the music industry, particularly involving Suge Knight and Dr. Dre, prompted speculation that Eazy-E was intentionally infected with HIV. His swift, unexpected death intensified these suspicions, despite the absence of conclusive proof. The unanswered questions surrounding Eazy-E's death continue to captivate and disturb his devoted fan base. 2. Al Jackson Jr., a violent end in his own residence. Al Jackson Jr., the exceptional drummer of Booker T and the MGs, was the heart of enduring hits, showcasing expert skill and a unique beat. He wasn't merely a percussionist, he was the bedrock of soul and R&B music. However, this prominent figure was taken from life in an unexpected manner. On the night of 9/30/1975 in Memphis, Al Jackson Jr. arrived home following a performance. It was late, the area peaceful, but upon entering his home, his life became a tragedy. The lights were illuminated, the entry unlocked. A few steps inside, a mysterious assailant appeared suddenly. 5 shots echoed, rapid, exact, pitiless, leaving him defenseless. Al Jackson Jr. fell lifeless onto his kitchen floor. His spouse was bound in another room. She reported she couldn't identify the perpetrator. No physical evidence, no signs of a struggle, and nothing of value was missing. The case was hastily classified as a robbery, yet few accepted that explanation. No one fires 5 shots at an unarmed one, Jam Master Jay, an unforeseen violent death. On October 30th, 2002, Jam Master Jay, renowned DJ and Run DMC member, the man who propelled hip-hop to new levels, was in his Queens, New York studio. That evening appeared unremarkable, yet concluded as a tragic end for a music icon. At approximately 7:30 p.m., music and laughter filled the studio when two unfamiliar individuals entered. Before any reaction was possible, a gunshot echoed, instantly killing Jam Master Jay. The gunfire shattered the peace, leaving those present stunned. The assailant vanished without a clue. Despite extensive police probes, investigations yielded no results. Speculation centered on Jay's alleged underworld connections or conflicts within the music business, but no motive was established. The question lingered: why Jay? Why was a pioneering legend murdered in his own studio? The case remains unresolved, and Jam Master Jay's passing continues to be a deep sorrow for hip-hop. These fatalities are enormous enigmas shrouding the celebrity world. The bright stage lights mask a deeply cold reality. What's your opinion? Are these deaths accidental, intentional crimes, or is something more sinister concealed? Share your ideas in the comments. If you feel these truths warrant further investigation, remember to subscribe and activate notifications for every expose of Hollywood's hidden secrets. I will continue exposing the truths Hollywood attempts to conceal.